So I'll start from the top, and it's been a little while since I've seen this, but I think I commented it pretty okay. So this is the Titanic data set to start with. We get information about the passengers and whether they survived or did not survive the accident, and some details about this was dropping the cabin. One thing I've considered is maybe taking the first letter
Hmm.
and turning that into like a categorical thing, like maybe they were in cabin A, cabin B, cabin C. But I have to look at the cabin and see if there's a consistent pattern for that. This was actually an interesting idea. It has the age of the passenger
Hmm.
here. So what I had done at the time was I looked to see who was under 16 years old. So we did Titanic data frame, a Boolean masking, and this will actually return all the ones that are under 16. It's 2 years old,
Hmm.
14, 4, so on and so forth.
So then let's take
Yeah,
that information, because what I'd like to try to do is I would like to process where we can think about how to explore the data. So I think the first thing is to come up with some questions that are, what do we want to know? Like, what are our questions?
in this case, our overarching question is who survived.
And what characteristics were important in them surviving? And so then related to kids, what question we would ask is what?
Uh,
What if we took this and we tried to turn it into a question, just so I can sort of illustrate the process? What if someone under 16 more likely to survive?
and my conjecture, and I think this is domain knowledge, and the whole reason why I looked into it is I would think yes.
So then we want to give that conjecture or hypothesis some actual visualization or numerical information. So you've got the kids data frame, which is the people under 16. What if
And we can see that
yeah.
here.
So what if we tried to calculate the kids' survival rate?
So we need
Hmm.
and it looks like that's 870. No, because this is the kids. So let's do this. So that means we have 891 total passengers. Well, I was hoping for the actual documentation, but I see Stack Overflow, which I think Stack Overflow is kind of hit or miss.
Definitely. Length data frame dot index.
Okay. Yeah, I think
Much
that would work.
faster too.
So it would be Lynn. Nice. That doesn't exactly line up though. So no, it did. It did. And then let me look just to make sure.
Yeah.
Just to sanity check ourselves here.
Hmm.
Okay. Yes.
So
So this.
891 total passengers. And I'm going to make a suggestion instead of to calculate the proportion of how many people survived, And what I'm going to do is, survived is a 0 or 1 variable, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I take the average of a 0 or 1 variable, I'm going to get all the ones divided by the total number. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if I do Titanic DF, tight DF.
Capital DF.
Oh, thank you. If I take tight DF, I take the survived column, and then I take the average of that. It tells me that 38% roughly of everyone survived. Do you see that? How that's
So we can do the same thing with the kids.
So you can I'll let you do it. You can do the same thing with the kids and compare which one is higher.
So in this case, so pretty significantly higher.
Mm-hmm. Now you had to filter down to the kids. That wasn't included for you.
Mm-hmm.
To visualize, so that's good for quantitative things. And you could do the same idea to get male versus female survival rates. So I could take my data frame, my tight DF, filter by the ones where sex is male, and then I can take the survived column from that filtered data frame, and I can do the average. What have I messed up here?
Usually you get that if there's like a parentheses or a colon that doesn't match up, or a bracket, excuse me, that doesn't match up. So I guess would probably be that there is a bracket that's not matched.
I think I deleted the offending.
So I think that worked. Now you just have to actually type male survival rate, so it'll show up.
Okay, and we might go ahead and start thinking about how we'd present this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I could just type in male survival rate and get the number. But if something happened and I have to turn this over to somebody else, I may not have given them the best information. What I could do is I try to print this out in a way that is, more accessible. The survival, if I do the column and I do dot unique, that gives me what the actual unique values of that were. So it tells me I just have male and female. Okay. So then what if I said for sex in type df? So then for sex in the unique values of that column, I could say sex survival rate equals, I'm going to copy this thing that I calculated earlier, where I took the survived amount of the filtered value and took the average to take the proportion.
And just replace male with sex, I would think.
And then we want to print probably inside that for loop.
Yes.
So could you make it print something like the survival rate for was...
If I do this, and then the survival rate for blank was blank,
Mhm.
and then dot format, sex, and sex survival rate.
That way, when somebody comes back later, they actually get some information from it.
Wow, massive difference.
Well, what was the rule for shipwrecks?
Women and children.
Women and children first. So you're seeing what you would have expected if you knew that.